Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, we know John Swinney is a teller of tall tales. He's in the SNP after all, and lying is part and parcel of being in that party. Indeed, it is in their very DNA. They can never tell the truth when a good lie will do. If you haven't got a good lie, just tell a bad one. It doesn't really matter. Nobody believes them, everything is fact-checked, and they're always found out sooner or later. But last year, he made the outrageous claim, which even on first sight is clearly bonkers, that Scots paid per head less income tax than their English counterparts. It was a lie then, and it's a lie now. But it's now been proved to be a lie. So we can quite easily call him a liar, but then we could anyway. He's lied about so many things over the years, hasn't he? And so we'll have a look at this. We'll see why he lied. We'll see how clearly bonkers it is. But of course, they work on the principle that if you keep telling a lie often enough, eventually it becomes true. And especially in this day of the internet, where you put it up on social media, then you get someone else to quote it, then you get someone else to quote that quote, and eventually it's the accepted truth. But it doesn't mean it's true. It's just still a lie. It's just a believed lie. We'll take a look at this and see why Swinney the liar has been caught out yet again. Here goes. So, John Swinney's bogus claim disproved, as most Scots pay more income tax than the rest of the UK. And we've covered this tax. And of course, already paying more and they want to put it up. But we're not going into the putting it up thing. This is about him and his claim. And to show that it is a sheer and utter load of old tosh. The former Finance Secretary claimed last year that most Scots pay less income tax than their English counterparts. But now this is untrue, with Shona Robinson set to even widen the tax divide even more. Now, I want to just show you this image, right, because I just think this image is funny. He's obviously wearing one of Mary Black's old cast-off suits, because it's quite a large suit, and he seems to be shrinking into it, doesn't he? He's like a child in a man's outfit, apart from obviously the big round bald head. Unless it's a baby. He's turning into a little baby, isn't he? But look at the size of the shirt collar. I mean, you'd think the money he's on, he could afford, a fitted shirt. It's not hard, is it? Get one for the right size neck. But then I suppose if you're dealing with Mary Black's cast-offs, you've got to take what you get, haven't you? What a sad man. I know things about him. I can't say. I really can't say. I want to. Oh boy, do I want to. But I can't, because I like my house. I want to keep it. John Swinney has been accused of spouting a bogus claim after he said that most Scots pay less income tax than the rest of the UK. Obviously a load of old rubbish then, and still a load of old rubbish now. The former Finance Secretary said last year, during his budget where he hiked up income tax for anyone in Scotland earning more than $27,500, which, to be honest, isn't a great deal of money. Not in terms of sort of what your income is. I mean, it's £12 an hour, something like that. It's not horrendously a lot of money, is it? So, but more or less, if you're working full time, you're more or less paying more in tax than you are in England. And it's going to get worse. Along with his successor, Shona Robinson, who's set to announce even more increases for middle-class Scots next week, he has been called out for his comments. Basically, John, you're a liar. You're a liar. Always. But then you could have said this a year ago. The Scottish Government is looking at introducing a new tax band of those earning between £75,000 and £125,000, which will see them pay 45%. Now, as I was saying, the story's not about that. But it's about the fact that they're so shady on these things, and they keep wanting to lie. They keep thinking, keep telling a lie, tell a lie, tell a lie, tell a lie. People will believe it. And you have to be pretty dim to believe it, let's be honest. This isn't good by any metric, is it? Last year's SNP budget ensured that anyone earning about $27,850 a year would pay more income tax than those on the same salary south of the border, or across the water, to be fair. With recent statistics showing that the median annual salary in Scotland is now $29,675. So that means that most people in Scotland are now paying more tax. And that's just a function of their own How can you put it? This is turkeys voting for Christmas is where I was going with that one. For some reason, I lost the thread of what I was going to say. It's turkeys voting for Christmas because the people who are voting for the SNP are voting for more taxes. And yet at the same time as paying more taxes, their services are being cut because the SNP have this obsession with wasting money in every possible conceivable way rather than actually directing the money they do have to where it's actually needed. Last year's SNP budget, see, that's what happens. I go off, I say something, I come back, I lose me tangent. Mr. Swinney said last year that the majority of people in Scotland will still pay less in taxation than if they lived in the rest of the United Kingdom. And the Scottish Tories blasted the Nationalist administration for bringing in a damaging and ever widening tax gap, which could force people to move away from the country. We covered that earlier. The brain drain is definitely going to come if they bring it in. Scottish Conservative Shadow MP, MSP, Liz Smith, said the stats don't lie. And that's the great thing. The great thing about facts is they don't care what political party you are. They don't care what you believe. Facts is facts and they stay the same, even if they are inconvenient to you. John Swinney's claim a year ago, she said, that the majority of Scots pay less income tax under the SNP is simply bogus. The reality is the point at which workers in Scotland pay more tax than they would in England is almost £2,000 below the median annual wage. For years, she said, the SNP tried to justify the damaging and ever-widening tax gap with the rest of the UK on the grounds that those on average earnings were paying less, albeit by a minuscule amount. Now even that claim doesn't stack up. And to make matters worse, media reports are rife that 86 is about to announce new income tax rises in next week's budgets, which would further clobber hard-working Scots. And they're not so hard-working. Not everyone's hard-working. Come on, we've all seen them. And I'm going to be honest, some of us are them, you know. We're not all, diligent. I do. I work hard. Doesn't look it sitting here, but when I finish, I'm not a tangent time again. Sorry about this. When I finish, I go downstairs, cup of tea, whatever, sit on the sofa, and I have to sit in a quiet room for a good hour. It's really hard, People don't realise. It's not physically hard, but it's mentally. But hey, you don't need to know that. We'll get on. According to the Office of National round this off now. According to the Office of National Statistics, the median annual gross salary for all employees was $29,675, which is an increase of 6.4% compared with the year before. Well, hey, we've had very high inflation. Of course, it's going to go up. Everyone earning more than $27,850 pays more money to the Scottish purse than their English counterparts, and thus John Swinney is provably a liar. But he always has been. He's lied about an awful lot of things, hasn't he? Hasn't he, children? The median taxpayer will pay approximately $3,438 in tax, which is more than the roughly $3,420 that they would pay if they were in the rest of the UK, meaning a difference of about £18 a year. That's on the average wage. So £1.50 a month, what does that get you? Cup of tea? Cup of coffee, maybe? Not at Starbucks, no, but at a cheap coffee shop, you get coffee for it, wouldn't you? A spokesperson for the Deputy First Minister said, after the disaster of the Liz Truss mini-budget, oh yes, because they've got to push, they've got to say, don't look at us, don't look at the fuck up we've made, don't look at our mess, but look at that mess over there, and then forget about our mess. No, we're not talking about Liz Truss, we're talking about you. So stop dragging in the whataboutery, right? Anyway, she said she prioritised tax cuts and bankers' bonuses ahead of public services. Well, you aren't even doing that. You're putting taxes up and you're cutting services at the same time. It's not as though you're putting taxes up to pay for services. So cut the mustard. Get out of here. Sod off and stop lying. But they're all liars. Like I say, can't help themselves. And it's going to get worse. And there he is. Man with an incredibly tiny neck. Little pencil neck in somebody else's shirt. But honestly, the money he's on, surely, mate. Go Marks and Spencer's. They sell shirts that fit. Coming up. It's insidious the way the SNP lies, really, isn't it? At no point will they ever tell the truth. Even if the truth is beneficial to them, they still won't say it. Because they don't want to get into the habit of ever speaking the truth in case they say the wrong truth one day. So if they just always speak in lies and riddles, then they can never be pinned down. I think that's literally what they do. And of course, Swinney's no different from any of the others. They're all seeped, aren't they? They're all seeped in mendacious lies, cover-ups, snide, sleek-it, secretive, two-facery. They're a very loathsome lot. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will speak to you later. Bye.